Hi everyone, I'm Lying with Toy Design Draw Life. Only was your almost fed. Girl and push yourself and feel the fear and put through whatever limitation before with negative anxiety that feelings again that stem begin breaking through. Every positive that start operating the body changes, so did the mind. For the third case, God was third step is God the grow mountain inspired you in a renewed way. One of the biggest strength that trained you when the mentally and physically grow. But you need belief. If you not just have said it before, but use the pathway to get where you want to be. When you want to change, when the body, the mind, emotion, the financial, the relationship, you read the roadmap. For example, I talked to Toro on filming and told this. How many get to people, I think people are not. Unless they the compress, another thing are positive, but so a real example of what drama, what your research say, the real example. So well, that was a bad example, also history. So that time the enemy made the sad world, made the stock come from $80 and now doesn't matter that $8. Let me tell the good meme and the bad news. $1 but you find God. Or two, $1 menu go 75 cents. And your people are hold back and saying for a positive. And study the process in history. If you look back in the 1930, whatever 1970 or NASA as well, or not even did you cross, but the present ultimate 70 got a period time not well gone afterward, but a big role. And the dollar dog and one dog with $0.75 during the back to the end by the way that a decade. But every time the stock in the age of dollar was still 16 or 75 cents to $5 nearly a mandatory. It happened twice before. It happened during the same pattern that the blow up from. That means you got the setting price satisfied the 2000% increase. That's a great return emotion of similar over time lifetime that can happen in 2 or 3 months. They can make it back. So I says, but I don't know amount of time they jumped it, no back time they come in get started. And you know I told the type of story talent. You just by the way of the month. I try to don't know, you don't know his name, they can create a society and Jeep became an investor $1 billion this day by being a research using $10,000. How you do that? Do that because he believed they make all the money. The time the measurement doesn't. That's a good romance. In 1939, it was partially going on. His born based Poland and his place go all had to get bring group and took a $10 and get all the could and stock with the pro stock. That cost $1. Many of those Osman doomed to bankruptcy. But you can help the groom. They got back to normal, the season will come back. You came a billion of frozen dog. Investing in Japan with no one depends in Japan. No wrong up will do that. Then go get burned. But a country that in the modern term, he brought in the penny, the grow, and for you support. The one thing that I learned to relate all of my trust you is during. Everything, nothing bigger. There got your dream. Nothing is great, it's a dream. Now every sitting in Ray, educational tuition. I'm not saying that education is not important because they time to a lot of music, but let me tell you some. That is nothing. Nothing bigger than your dream. Because your dream will go for failure to get their education. Don't you ever stop dream. Don't you ever stop magic. We will talk about the real thing a lie. Don't you ever stop dream. Joe by. Say a man without a dream or vision is okay, but in the bulk, in your this doesn't work. No way it matters say by education you pass. That is say without dream or vision you have. So, if what your dream is about, required in education is the dream that fulfill you to get the education. But your dream begins in anything man. If you want an education, that's quite to be great or successful, I hear it. So that's a helpful one to do. But no, the good art dream. Your dream is that everything there, like a biggest part of your life. Look, man, in the did that thing, the God would assume you don't have to sleep sometime. It's a dream. In the second round, we stop. Whatever pumping and breath in my body, or go on lift weights. Go and put yourself and feel yourself at the crossroad, whatever been limitation before. When naked inside, that physical strength again, these things are breaking through. Every part of start operates and the body changes. That is mine. What the third key? What's the key step in the role model inspire you and really show you the way? What the biggest thing that will train you what to mentally, physically store? And you need to believe in order to have the centers we call the pathway to get where you want to be. What you want to change when the body, the mind, the emotion, the finances, the relationship, you need a role model. So example, I start talk about you like your feministic television, how they get the people that think did not the mistake never come back. To not just think I mean positive. Growth man was not role model. He's associated the real example. So I thought, well, the best example showed you history. So that time, the enormous they set from and start from $80 and the last human a decade $8. I said, oh, maybe some good news and bad news. Tomorrow $8 stock in $5. A dollar menu go 75 cents. And keep you hope and saying and positive, etc. Positive. Is you study Protestant history. If you look back to what happened in 1930, it was happening in 1970s when that time as well, where material dispute cross in division of the time in 70s, the period time not a block and there were big growth. And $8 stock when the dollar 76 cents didn't make it back and the dollar it took decades. Thus, the 75-cent stock has been $80, 15 or 16, with about 75 cents or $5 limited a month or two. Has happened twice before. It happened during the same process. The draw that means to go around 75 cents the right dollar, the 2,000% increase. That a greater the turn in most investors in the over time line. When do it 3 months, you can make it back. Now it's like back. Amount the time it jumping, what time the coming has started. Then what turn the show in Tamblin. I just passed away a few months before enough to know him. Don't know the name become wisdom, become history. And became investor, a billionaire, you should say. By being investor, he started $10,000. How'd you do that? He didn't release that they make all the monies. Time or masterman, craftsman, that were role model. In 1939, Jefferson going on, Hitler invaded Poland and Hitler is play and all has breaking rules. It took a $10,000 invested in all his goods. It could cost a stock and cost dollar. Many of these stocks were near the bankruptcy. But the other thing happened, the war. Everything got back to normal, the season order comes back. Become a billionaire for the investment invested in the pen who know what to invest in because no normal could do that. Because of that bombed the country down the mountain dirt. People think the penny that grew and sold them for huge profits. The one thing that I learned to relate all my children is to dream. Have nothing think bigger than the dream. Nothing is great. Need to dream. Everything is great. Educational institution. I'm not saying that education is not important because it's time to lost your dream. But let me tell you something. Marry nothing. Nothing beyond your dream. Because your dream will propel you to get the education. Don't you ever stop dream. Don't you ever stop a match. I will talk about the two things alive, but don't ever stop your dream. Your bike. Say a man without dream or vision so perish. That's in the mind. That's in the world. No, nowhere in the doesn't say education. When it says without a dream of vision you perish. So what you call dream is about. require an education isn't a dream that prepare you to get education, but the dream is bigger than anything man. So if the education that caused you to be great successful, I'm here today because I don't have one, but nobody could outdream me. The dream is everything there, the biggest part of your life. Look, man, it's the thing that God puts in you, don't let you sleep sometime. It's your dream. It's the thing that pulls you, man, to wake you up and stir very pit of the soul. The story of this day.